The question that was important to me, which I think is important to anybody alive, is when I was writing it was, is it possible after the very worst thing to have any sort of faith or hope? Faith in a, not in a religious sense, but in just faith. Is it possible after the worst thing? So my answer through this book and through many years of thinking about it is yes, it's possible. We all experience grief, varying degrees, not necessarily cataclysmic historical grief, but many other kinds of grief in our lives. And it is easy to be knocked down, to fall, to be pushed down by those things. So how do we learn to live after those things? I was also very struck and very moved by the fact that there were so many children in that war and in all the wars that have been since. So many children dispossessed, left alone, and to me the most maybe poignant thing is to think that as one account said, that children had to take the hand of a stranger. So we would like to think that those things aren't happening now, but of course they're happening now. So I feel that these are questions that unfortunately do not go away. We have a relationship to them in various ways. We have what happens to us in our own lives. We have what happens to the world around us. But they are questions that remain. And I think that to think about them, to try and understand, to call up in yourself your own nobility, your own courage, your own sense of power to make a difference, to change things. I mean, even if it's just someone next to you, your friends, the people around you. It doesn't have to be grandiose gesture. It can be a small gesture. But I think this is crucial. I think this is not a luxury. It's not something that we can put down or leave or take up. I think it's crucial. So the book doesn't want to take away the complexity of things. It could have been written more simply. The war could have been described in more brutal language, ugly language, but I didn't want that. I wanted, that seemed like a lie to me. You can't represent that horror in language. So how can one tell the story in a different way? So to keep that complexity meant that I wanted the reader to stop reading, to think, to feel something, put it down again, to take it up again, keep going, to read slowly. I mean, that's a risk. You don't want the reader to stop completely and not come back to the book. So to me, it was a balance. How do I do this? Do I figure out a way to keep the reader engaged enough that they keep reading, but to make it possible and make the reader, ask the reader to slow down and to stop. There was a great, the great German playwright Bertolt Brecht, and in his theater, his idea was you made a very, very emotional scene, then you put a banner up which told you what the idea was, so you would, get it. This moment is about this. That's not what I'm doing, but the impulse is to say, engage your mind as well as your heart. And so I'm sorry that it was difficult, and
I don't think you have to apologize for that.
but I think that I would rather risk difficulty and keep complexity than simplify something which is not simple. So that was my thinking behind it.